it's like a momentum thing for me, and sometimes if I'm not doing something, like I be feeling like I'm behind, and sometimes you just gotta kind of grab the reality and understand that every day is not gonna be your day. But you know, I think the big thing is getting those reps in. Whatever that you want to achieve, getting those reps in is so important. So um, beneficial to what you're trying to do, because like we all be trying to get that home run. Whether for me personally, it's like whether you get a song that you love and it's like this is gonna be the one, but it's just another song. Sometimes you just gotta get like 1,000 shots up. Like I just to me I think like it's all a matter of just perspective and understand that this is a building block. And for me, like that's how I'm just moving every step, every ounce of what I'm doing is just a rep towards where I'm trying to go. And that's how like I just see everything. Like everything is just in that clear sight. Like I can just go and ramble all day about, constantly grinding, but it's just that one step forward, the Kobe Bryant mentality. It's like that one step forward, just take one foot and go. And sometimes just not even thinking about it. Like I be like for me, like I'm just such an overthinker where it's like I'm constantly like trying to, okay, is this gonna work? Is it gonna get this? And it's like sometimes you just gotta push yourself forward and not necessarily overthink and just be in the space. Sometimes you just gotta be present. Sometimes my mind is always towards the future, but if you can be present, like you're one step closer to succeeding. Because a lot of people are so focused on their future without understanding that this current time, this moment right now, is your time to create that reality or inch towards it. Just by doing the small things. There are things that are things that you have to unravel. It's like puzzle pieces. There's just puzzle pieces all over the place. But if you take the time to see the picture and then just take that puzzle piece and put it up piece by piece, within 30 to 40 minutes, you're going to have some progression if you stay locked in. So that's why, like, I think for me, it's just so important to just stay the course. Stay the course and, just stay the path. Every day I'm glad that I get the chance. Like I said, I have done a lot of sacrificing just you know I'm just a kid. Like I have all of this knowledge in so many other fields, but I believe that this is the only thing that I'm good at. You can have information about certain things. You can have information about going into certain avenues, but like I want this to be the centerpiece of what I'm creating. And just this music thing because it's something that I love. Starting it, I'm gonna start getting to producing, and but that's a whole nother story. But yeah, every rep is a step towards what you want to do. Experiment. Everybody wants to just try and do the same thing that everybody else do and think that you're gonna get the same results. Everybody has a unique path, and I think that if you're just that person that's just trying to copycat your way to whatever, to the top, or to whatever like you're trying to accomplish, it's not gonna work because you're trying to copy a blueprint. Now, can you get inspiration from a blueprint? Of course, everybody grabs inspiration from something, and apply it to their own life, but it's your uniqueness that you have to combine with a blueprint, something that you think might be the right route, but you got to still create the route in your own unique way. So that's what I'm doing every day, with these videos. Like most artists don't even talk out, they just make their music, and I think that's not just what I want to be seen for. um, I want to be a person that gets it. Like, everybody wants to, you know, just be mysterious behind the music, and you don't really get to see the personality of people because they're so into their music that they don't even want to show their identity. Like me, I want to show not only am I'm good at what I do with making music, but I'm a person that can show my personality too, in a sense. And so I think that these videos are important, for every step, and influencing and inspiring others that might be going through the same things I go through. So I just tell my story, and people are influenced by it, then the people are influenced by it, but it's it's not like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna speak and like, nah, like I'm being me, and um, a lot of people, they don't want to be themselves, and I don't get it. I think that like my purpose and things that I'm doing is to be authentic and to carry that authenticity to the point that it's my brand and it's my platform. Um, you know, I think everybody tries to put on this front of trying to be real, but like people don't understand that like there's things that being authentic about is like you know sometimes not favored. Sometimes it's not favored to the public eye, or you know but when you choose your uniqueness and say this is me, I think people can only respect it. And like that's the big thing. Like I'm big on is like just respect the art, respect what I how I feel about certain things. I'm not trying to get people to like me, but you know um like even with you know music or being recognized as the top artist, like that's not my goal. I just want to be a person that tells the story of myself through my art. Talk about topics that can relate to people, people's lives. As far as my life, like every song that I make isn't like a direct experience. Like they might be a fuse into like maybe like the girl that I might be talking about in the songs is like it might be like a combination of like all experiences. Maybe somebody that told me about their experience. So it's like it's a fuse. And I think because like music is imagination, and it's this dream world that you just kind of get into within the realm of sound. And I think you know everything that our minds are put into is like we apply it, and we go into this dream world when we make music. And that's what I love so much about music is like you can just be whoever that you want to be. I mean, I still try and be my authentic self, but there are sides of me that can't necessarily be communicated through speech, or through how I'm living, and music is like that gateway for others that can relate to who I am, and just how I kind of view things and perspectives. So yeah, man, I think that's just this is, but it comes with like how the whole thing that we talk about is every rep. And I've learned that throughout just the course of just everything that I've been doing is like it starts with looking at who you are first, and then kind of seeing how you can implement who you are into the actual world. Because it's at times I view the world and then trying to apply it, but it's a mixture. How do you fit into this world, and how do you make what you make and apply it to the world? So it's making songs is a unique thing. I love just talking about the ideas of relationships and certain peoples and certain characteristics of certain people that I've came across. You know, maybe some that are might be shy, but some that are very confident. So it's just the realm, and sometimes like I mix certain personalities of girls that I've encountered or had situations and kind of fused it into one like ultimate girl. So like I or it's a direct experience. So like I love you know my personal records, but then I love the imagination of what there's times where I have encountered a girl that you know um I didn't necessarily have a situation with, but it was like the imagination of what if we had a situation, what it would look like, how it would be. I've always tapped into my imagination with if I was to have this relationship, what would it look like? And that's just the beauty of music, is like you can create your own world and still have certain parts of authenticity into like things that you have been through. So um I just want to still tap into that and just always talk about girls. I love talking about girls, and I love talking about things I've been through and just real life stuff. Um, just life and how hard you gotta just stay the grind, and how hard it is just every day, like stay that path. And so we doing everything that we're trying in our power to, at least me. I have friends that that are still trying to grind and get to that point, but when you're doing this solo and hoping that you gravitate or get people to gravitate towards what you do, then um, it's it'll just be that beauty in disguise, and that's what I look forward to. So we got more talks on the way, more just me being me, and just really just cherish the life and cherish every step, because it's all gonna mean something one day.